Right, welcome back everybody. Let's get into the front pages of our daily newspapers now, and let's start off firstly with the business day. So, business day, Sakina, what's in that?
Right, their lead story this morning, helpless patients used as pawns, disabled people paraded in public in a battle over subsidies. Now, with the memory of the tragic deaths of 144 mental health patients in the Life Esidimeni saga, South Africa still has that etched in its mind, and this time NGO Sunfield Home Fortuna, which houses almost 70 physically and intellectually disabled people at its Balfour facility, deemed it fit to parade some of those patients at the offices of the Provincial Department of Social Development. So as you can imagine, the outcry and the backlash as a result of that. Regulator clamps down on Itala, a state-owned development agency. Itala's ambitions of being a fully fledged bank were dealt a heavy blow after a repayment administrator was appointed to look after its affairs, in a move that essentially begins the process of winding down its deposit-taking activities. And of course, also South Africa's growth outlook slashed as the IMF calls for reform. South Africa's logistical challenges and the debt burden and high borrowing costs are big clouds hanging over the economy, according to the IMF, after it almost halved South Africa's forecast to just 1% for 2024 and called for South Africa to implement reforms and lower its budget deficit.
All right, that leads us into the front page of the Star. So here's a story that they have worked on. Mafokate fails to halt the seizure of lavish house. Big headline, the court finds veteran musician used 7.5 million rand of funds meant to help poor youngsters. So the Gauteng High Court yesterday dismissed an application by the veteran musician and producer Arthur Mafokate to have his property, a luxury guest house, released from a preservation order. You'll read all of the stories in there. I mean, this stems back to December 2022 when the National Forfeiture Unit, or the Asset Forfeiture Unit of the NPA, obtained in order to preserve that property. So then there's a picture of the Year of the Dragon. So Chinese New Year, and a photograph there is what they are featuring. And the corruption index shows a 5-year decline for South Africa. That's also our question of the day. South Africa continuing to struggle with addressing public sector corruption for the 5th year in a row, as reported by the 2023 Corruption Perceptions Index. That's the CPI. So land grab blamed for illegal water connections. July unrest victims unhappy with the results of the SAHRC report. And that's it. That's a start.
Citizen this morning, don't insult us, John. I don't drink, so don't call me a drunkard. That's Gift Mabuzo, top left on that picture next to that of John Steenhuisen. So Gift Mabuzo tells the DA leader John Steenhuisen after Steenhuisen's scathing remarks of the Amapanyaza crime wardens. Rifilwe Ntendra in the middle calls the uncalled remarks just racist. And Tulani Ndlovu at the bottom there says it's a direct insult to our community. We're not shebeens. We're beacons of hope for them. Wow. And then also rich customers are feeling the pinch too. Reported sales from Woolies show more affluent customers are also tightening their belts, and train drivers running blind.
All right, very quickly, here's the Sowetan Rand Water shooting. We don't know who is next. Bulk water provider beefs up security for managers in strategic positions following that brazen killing of an executive and bodyguard in front of pupils. And widow's court battle to bury hubby, and Jali ruffles swallow's feathers. And then finally, donors 1 million gift saves 3 kids. Those are the front pages of your newspapers.
And of course, don't forget the SABC website, www.sabcnews.com. All those stories, our stories exclusively, as well as all you need to know from SABC TV and radio. At 7 o'clock, here's your news with Leanne.